So before we move on to the next feature, let's see how we can clean up this initialization code in our shopping cart class. So here we're creating a new shopping cart item object. We're copying all the properties of the item to this new object and also setting the key property. Now I want to show you a nice technique to initialize your objects. So when creating this shopping cart item object, it would be nice if we were able to pass a JSON object that had some properties of the shopping cart item object. For example, here we could have title, which we can set from item. We could have image URL, which we can set from item.image URL, and price. And finally, $key, which we are setting here from product ID. So product ID. Now, don't worry about this compilation issue. We're going to fix that in a second. You might ask, why is this better? Our object initialization looks longer. At least in the previous implementation, we copied all the properties of the item using one line of code, but now we are doing it with 3 lines. Well, we can simplify this. So in TypeScript, we have this operator called spread operator. So I'm going to comment out these few lines and show you the spread operator. So 3 dots and then item. When we apply this operator to an object, TypeScript will iterate over all the properties of this object and add them here. So this line is exactly equivalent to these 3 lines. We're spreading an object. We're spreading its properties. So delete. Now with this new way of initializing a shopping cart item object, we don't need to call object.assign. We don't need to explicitly set the key here. We have a single way to initialize all the properties of this shopping cart item object. Also, we don't really need X anymore. We don't need to define this as a variable. We can pass this directly to the push method. But before we do that, let's go ahead and fix this compilation issue. The reason we're getting this compile time error is because we don't have a proper constructor that allows us to pass an object like this. So let's go to shopping cart item class, add a constructor. I'm going to add a parameter here called init and make it optional, so I can also create a shopping cart item object without necessarily providing an argument. Now the type of this parameter should be partial. That's one of the classes in TypeScript. This is a generic class. As a generic argument, we pass shopping cart item. Now what does this mean? This means init can be an object that looks like a shopping cart item object. It can have one or more properties. Now here in the body of this constructor, we can simply use object.assign to copy all those properties of this init into this current object. So remember, the first argument is target. Our target is this, and our source is init, right? Now, if we go back to our shopping cart class, you can see the compilation error is gone. So this is the init object that we're passing to shopping cart item. It has all the properties that we need in shopping cart item. Now we can get rid of this temporary variable and simply pass this new shopping cart item object to our push method like this. Or we can put everything on one single line because I think in this case, it's more clear. Let's have a look. So we push a new shopping cart item object that has all the properties of the item plus key, which is a product ID. All right, we're done with changing the quantity of shopping cart items. Next, we're going to implement clearing a shopping cart.